Okay. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Anton Eitzinger. I'm a geographer and scientist at the Alliance of Bioversity International and CIAT, and together with my colleague Osana Bonilla, which has also switched on her camera. She's from the Climate Change, Agriculture and Food Security Program, CCAFS. We will present our experiences that we had with the GeoFarmer app, developing the GeoFarmer app, which is a modular platform for community-based participation. So I will start with a short timeline of what we did since we started in 2014 developing this app. So we started basically first with developing a prototype, the first prototype in 2014. We were focused very much on collecting farmers' feedback and knowledge, edited skills about CSA practices. We implemented this prototype in Tanzania and Uganda. It was a very important first step for us to gain experiences and to move on with developing the app. Next, we worked on usability studies from 2015 on. We collaborated with, for example, University of Salzburg and PhD students from there, and also with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Kampala. And basically, the idea was to make it better, to improve usability during these studies. Then in 2016, we started a collaboration with CCAFS, working on a monitoring and evaluation framework for climate smart villages that CCAFS is running in many countries globally. And we have implemented this framework since 2016 in 14 countries until now. And in 2019, then we finally launched the current version of GeoFarmer, and we started looking also into more complex knowledge networks and how we can get farmers into collaboration on a platform. So what we just heard in the previous presentation at the end. So we are starting just now doing more collaborations with the private sector and also with universities to do more research on how this can work, having farmers on such a platform. Starting with our first learnings that we had in Tanzania, it was very important for us when we focused on our objective actually was to have interactive feedback between implementing farmers and outside experts on climate smart agriculture, demonstration sites. So we wanted to engage farmers to share experiences from field trials. We collected structured data and to be able to provide descriptive analysis, and we wanted to provide a channel for discussion among peers. We can, after the prototype, we can say the only thing that really worked was collecting data, because engaging farmers on smartphone applications and having these discussions among peers was still very difficult. So we ended up very much focusing on data collection in the first phase. But our learnings from this first pilot was very important, because we realized that it's very important to have very simple usability because of digital illiteracy of farmers in rural areas, especially in the global south. We also realized we need an alternative to smartphones because it's a low availability of smartphones in many of these areas. And also it's very important to have, because of lack of good connectivity in many areas, and this still is the same case today, we need offline functionality. And finally, we learned also that we need to think about different roles in such a platform, because we can use, for example, young farmers in the village to be a digital facilitator for other farmers that are not able to use the platform by themselves. Actually, at the end of this first pilot, we had a small spin-off project that we called the 5Q approach, that we combined with our smartphone app, and that was more or less based on interactive voice response, phone calls with farmers, and this was our best way to get interactive feedback back from farmers using this very simple phone service, pre-recorded phone service, and collect information and feedback from farmers in this first phase. So next, what we started in 2015-16, we worked together mostly with the University of Salzburg and the GeoCitizen project from there on how we can really look into usability. So we had several experiments with PhD students that designed experiments of creating tasks for farmers, so how they need to, and they observe them, and we get a lot of learning from these usability studies in this first phase. We also focused very much on the facilitator role, because the facilitator is like the person that is using the app and is doing the interviews with farmers and the farmer is not, in the first phase, is not directly interacting on the app. And finally, we developed together with CCAFS then a series of workshops and capacity building, how to use the app. So what we do now is we have normally a 1-week workshop with facilitators so that they really can become professionals in using the app when they are out in the field. As I mentioned at the beginning, so we started then working more directly with CCAFS on this monitoring framework. So we started in 2016, and we are still collecting a lot of data. So what CCAFS is doing basically is a collaborative process of evaluating climate smart agriculture practices together with farmers and local organizations. And what we did with GeoFarmer here was monitoring and linking the service that we collected with GeoFarmer with indicators that are developed by CCAFS. So CCAFS developed like 40+ indicators to measure the CSA effect on 3 levels. So we started on the community level to recall like what is the CSA adoption, and then we at the household level we focus more on the food security and livelihood aspect, and then at the farm level we use GeoFarmer to measure the CSA effects on farm performance. It was very useful to have the facilitator role, so not having the farmers directly interacting on the app, but having facilitators that are trained and they collect the data in interviews with farmers. We used multi-language, and we did most data were collected in an offline mode that then syncs the data to database once internet is available. So the main challenges still remain to be language, internet connectivity, and ICT literacy. So this is the challenges we still are seeing when we go to new field areas and we implement digital tools for monitoring there. Okay, now so the final version of the app is called the GeoFarmer app. So we published the paper in 2019, and what we focus here now, so GeoFarmer can be used for agriculture development projects. It's very useful for implementing research projects in terms of data collection, monitoring, and evaluation, and to get overall maps and field points through the app. But we are now in the future looking more into how we can really use it to create this interactive two-way communication loop between farmers and experts or other farmers and as experts, and really work towards enable a knowledge network for farmers that fosters a learning among peers. So this is our next focus that we're going to do in the next years. So here you can see like this is the basic framework of the GeoFarmer framework or tool. So it's based, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's based on a framework for urban participation. It's called the GeoCitizen framework. And it's a cloud-based system that uses progressive web application technology. That means that it works basically in the browser and it doesn't depend on operating systems. So you can use it on Android, iPhone, and also on Windows computers or mobile phones. So it's basically the same application working in different environments. So the basic principle of GeoFarmer is so it works with channels that are project-like structure, so users can join channels, participate in activities, and these channels are moderated by a moderator, so he's responsible for the channel. So this is, we have the 3 different user roles. So the moderator, which is managing the channel, then the facilitator, which is who is doing tasks on the channel, like collecting interviews with farmers, and then that can be the farmer itself. But this is still like the challenging part that we are facing currently. So we have different functions, like I said, collecting survey data, but also knowledge can be shared or questions can be posted on a channel. And we have different modules developed that can be used in different channels. For example, the survey module, but also the collaboration module and timeline and other modules that we have developed over time. So finally, I'm going to give you a very quick snapshot on how the ads platform looks like. So you have like these channels that show up when you first open the app, and then you can join a channel and participate in one of these channels. And once you are in the channel, you have like a timeline where you can see, okay, these are the currently posted surveys that are pending that I can fill out. And once the moderator, for example, will get access to who is filling out the surveys and how many people have filled it out until now, and also get first descriptive results from the surveys. We have the 3 different roles. So very important, the moderator, facilitator, and user. And we have different modules, like, for example, the survey module, which is a question tree logic and uses visualization. We have a farm calculator. It's still in beta version, so it automatically calculates metrics from input variables. We use it basically on the farm level for the farm performance, for example. We have customizable maps, so a user can upload geo features or map services into a channel, and we also have push notifications, and it could be also combined with a short message system, text-based. But this is also still in beta. So thank you very much, and I hand over